What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. Today's topics on your screen. Amorim, UEFA League? Europa League is what I meant to say. Press conference. Mason Mount returns back to action, but the Real Sociedad game is too soon for him. I want to have a couple, there's a couple of things on the Jadon Sancho deal, which I'm very interested to talk about. And we've also had a couple of people leave Manchester United, a senior doctor, and another one as well on top of that. So that's very interesting as well. So make sure you get your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Smash a like on the video. We're going to start off with Amorim, Sam. It was quite, from what I watched anyway, at least, it was quite a straightforward, very quick press conference, which was bizarre for Europa League presses. They feel about 17 minutes long. So there was a couple of things that he touched on. Obviously, he was always going to get asked about the owners and the new stadium and all this kind of stuff. And he was basically reiterated that he already knew that the owners, he had the backing of the owners. These are conversations that he had months ago, basically, and they was like really, really invested in him. He was basically saying as well that the new stadium doesn't matter right now. We've got to win at Old Trafford. We play at Old Trafford tomorrow, which you always expect that kind of answer. But look, a lot can change in 5 years. Do you think Ineos see Amorim as that long-term manager in a world where long-term managers has become a rare air, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Omar Barada said, didn't he, that he would like to open the new stadium with Amorim in charge. I don't know if that's just a nice little thing that he said or he actually believes it. Who knows? So I think, yeah, you're right. Long-term managers don't really exist anymore. Who's the longest? Is it Arteta? Or Pep got more on him?
Yeah. Pep's 9 years, 10 years.
Yeah. And it's kind of gone to shit, hasn't it? In this last year and stuff. Arteta hasn't been successful in his time. Like, he's not won anything, and he's been there for 7 years, 6 years. Jurgen Klopp basically ran out of like energy, didn't he? He just couldn't do it anymore. It was too much for him, and he was basically like, again, won one Premier League. So I think the days of like Alex Ferguson being here for 25 years, they're long gone. Like, that ain't going to happen anymore. Like, I just don't see that happen. Like, I think football is very cyclical now. I think teams get 5, maybe 6 years out of them, and then you have to rebuild. And it's like, how many times is a manager going to be allowed to rebuild? Because when you do rebuild, you're going to have an inevitable little dip, aren't you? When you're getting rid of old players, you're bringing in new, and you're trying to gel that team. It's happened under Fergie. Like, he must have built, about 4 teams, 5 teams? So it's always going to happen. And I just think financially in the football world today, you can't afford to go through that sort of like cycle and have that dip. And I think that's why Jurgen Klopp went out. Like, he was like, I can't do this again. And he's left. And you see Pep, he's got a divorce. He's losing his shit. He's going a bit psycho and stuff because he's in his 9th, 10th year now. And he's trying to rebuild again because all these players that he relied upon are becoming a bit old, a bit injury prone. So, yeah, I think those days are gone. But I think 5 years, I think that's doable. Like 5, 6 years. I think that's a decent chunk of time. Whether he stays beyond that, I probably doubt it in my eyes. But you never know.
I do think there are quite a few clubs, though, who are going down, much like with the recruitment thing, kind of leaning more towards younger players. There's a lot of younger managers who are doing relatively well at the moment. And obviously, Amorim being in that bracket, doing what he's done with Sporting. I mean, he's only 39, 40 years old. You've got Xabi Alonso with Bayer Leverkusen as well, who won a league title. And I'm sure there's other examples out there that I can't think off the top of my head at the moment. But Company, you could maybe throw in there with Bayern Munich if he goes and wins the title this year.
You've got a few in the Premier League that really exciting, like Iriola, Hertzler. They're like really. I think Hertzler's younger than me,
32.
which is
Hertzler.
he's younger than me, which is fucking bizarre. Like, that's really weird. And like, he's come into the Premier League. Iriola, I think, is in his late 30s. Like, he's not that old either. So you've got these young managers coming in. They play exciting football, and like, you've seen how good Bournemouth have been this year. Like, they've pushed all the way up. So yeah, it's interesting how young the managers are actually getting at this point.
Yeah. Maybe it's that thing, like, in politics where it goes so left wing and woke that it almost goes to right wing now, is what you're seeing in a minute. Maybe it's kind of the older managers, the Ancelottis of the world, who were still, doing unbelievably well, don't get me wrong. It's kind of swinging a bit more now towards the younger and maybe have a bit of patience and stay with him and give him a bit of time, because Amorim's certainly going to need that, isn't it? He got with it being a Europa League presser as well. They got asked about the significance of the competition. He said it's hugely important, but we've got to take it a game at a time. Tomorrow is the biggest focus, and you cannot look past tomorrow, can you, Sam? Because there's a lot of fans who are talking about Bilbao and the final and getting excited. I think, oh, we might actually get into the Champions League, but tomorrow's a tough test, isn't it?
Yeah, we saw. Excuse me. We saw in the first leg, I think we pretty much dominated them for about 70 minutes. They offered nothing, like Sociedad, and this was in their backyard, and they were really poor up until that penalty decision, and then they seemed to sort of spark into life a little bit and cause a few issues. So yeah, it's definitely not over, because we might see a repeat of that. We might dominate completely at Old Trafford,
and they
fail to score, and then they nick a goal. It could happen. Like, it could well happen that way. So it's totally not like it's 1-1. So we're essentially starting from scratch again. It's 0-0 still, basically, because it's 1-1. So we've not really gained an advantage in any way. So yeah, you can't take it for granted. Absolutely.
And the plays that are going to be implemented on the pitch are going to be interesting tomorrow as well. See if Casemiro keeps his place, if Ugarte comes back into the fold, who's going to start in the forward line, because Rasmus was benched in the last game. And the individual players was a topic of the conversation between a journalist and Amorim, and he got asked about Ratcliffe's comments again, because obviously Ratcliffe picked out, didn't Casemiro, Onana, Højlund was another one as well. All these players, and he said, kind of, did any of the players complain about this to Amorim? Now, obviously, he's not going to turn around and go, yeah, Casemiro said, what the fuck's that old man do? Like, he's not going to say that, is it? It's just not going to happen.
No.
But what Amorim did say, he kind of singled out Casemiro, which I thought was interesting. And Casemiro's a weird one at the moment, because it seems like the more we play in a drop-back system where he's a bit more protected, he actually does really well, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, this was a system when we brought him in under Ten Hag where we played really well, wasn't it? Him and Eriksen, we sat back because he tried to play in the first two games his system, and we just got obliterated by Brighton and Brentford. And he was like, I can't do this. So he switched systems and basically had the double pivot in Eriksen and Casemiro. Bruno was up top, and we sat back, and then we just counted on teams.
Yeah,
and that's how we won the League Cup, and we finished third in the league. Like, that's how we did it, and we looked decent doing it. And then he tried to go to this transitional style in the second season, and it just fell apart, didn't it? It just didn't happen. So I think that sort of style suits Casemiro. Obviously, when Amorim is going to he's going to bring players in, he's going to go to his style, like what he wants to do. Maybe Casemiro doesn't fit in that. And then you've also got the wage issue that I'm sure Ineos want to get off the books immediately. 350k a week for, how old is he? 32, 33? They want that off the books immediately, I imagine. So that's another issue. So yeah, I don't see him sticking around after this season, to be honest. But if we're playing this system and this sort of style, while we're sort of like trying to keep our head above water, then yeah, I think Casemiro will do well in it.
Well, he said, didn't he? He basically did it to get a result. And it is a fine balance at the moment where people are like, he's got to tweak something. He actually finally done that against Arsenal to get a result. And you could say we probably should have won that game, to be fair.
Definitely.
And so you're looking at that in isolation and you're like, good, if you can do that and get a result and keep doing that. But I don't think it's sustainable playing that style, as we've seen, against the other teams. When we play someone near the bottom of the table, are we going to be able to do that? No. So tweak it maybe for games like that against the big teams where they're going to come onto you and you can hit that space. I'm fascinated to see how it's going to go tomorrow again, because I expected when we played Real Sociedad at their ground, I thought they was going to have a lot of the ball, and it didn't feel like that. I don't think. I felt it was very 50-50. So it'll be interesting to see, because I almost like if they do have more of the ball, we can hurt that. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it does have that element, doesn't it?
But then at the same time, it's the Europa League tie and it's at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
United are going to expect it to have the ball, and I'm sure Sociedad are going to come prepared for that. They're going to come. United are going to have the ball, and we're going to work counters, or we're going to work to snatch it high up and stuff. So that's how they're going to come prepared, I imagine. So we're going to have to find a way to have possession and create chances, which is something we struggle with. And then when we do create chances, we struggle to put them in the net anyway. So that's another problem.
Well, the one positive, again, we've got Dorgu back in the side, who he didn't have, to be fair, it was probably out of the 3 games he's had at United, it's probably his worst game against Sociedad. He was a little bit rusty, but he was sat alongside Ruben Amorim today in the presser, and you got asked if he preferred kind of the left or right. And again, I'm not talking politics, I'm talking the left wing back side or the right wing back side. And he said, I'll play anywhere the coach asked me to. I joined this club because of Ruben's ambition to play attacking football. I like going forward. It really, really suits me. And you can see as a profile, Sam, he's a perfect fit, isn't he? Just that one player coming in, you could tell the big difference straight away.
A player who attacks, who likes an overlap, who puts crosses into the box with his natural foot, it just makes the difference, makes all the difference. And you saw that, some of our best football was when we had that connection of Shaw and Rashford.
And Pogba.
That was when our best football happened. You had that left side connection, and it was just happening. They all understood each other. Shaw would overlap, Rashford would cut in, and you just had it working. And I think you could get a similar thing, because obviously we're playing Garnacho on the right, which I think where he should stay for now, because I think that's his best thing. You've got Xerxes on the left, who again likes to drift in, drop deep and stuff. You've got Dorgu with the overlap. I think that works really well together. And I think that's what you're going to need in this sort of game. And you saw the impact he had at Everton. You saw the impact he's had the first game he played. He put cross into the box. You're like, wow, we've got a fullback that puts a cross into the box. When was the last time we had that? Because Dallow's not capable of it. So yeah, he's an important player for us, and it's just a shame that. Has he got one more game to go in the Premier League?
I think so, yeah. I think it was Arsenal Fulham that he was suspended for.
Yeah, FA Cup, yeah.
FA Cup. So there's one more. I think he was suspended for the Leicester game, and then he's back, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just a shame that he's missed the last 3 games, because against Arsenal, maybe we could have
been interesting, wouldn't it?
Get a win, maybe.
Yeah. On that red card, he said, look, the red card's all apart the game. He'll learn from it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Again, Amorim said after that, he isn't a malicious type of guy. He didn't mean to do it. It was just one of those where it was a 50-50 and he just went for it. And it was kind of a quick introduction into the Premier League in that regard. But he said that as well about the connection. He says Amorim's asking him to develop that connection with the midfielders from deep. When he's making the runs beyond, have that connection with the attackers as well. What have you made his settling in period so far? Because he, as we've said many a times, he does seem like a fit, doesn't he? It does seem like there's a player there, at least.
Yeah, he's took like a duck to water, hasn't he? He's just fitted straight in. He didn't have to see him having any issues, no nerves. As soon as he got his first game, he was running at defenders, wasn't he? He was just going for it. And you're like, yeah, this he's got confidence. He's young, he's quick, seems to be strong. He was he was sort of shoving a couple of people off the ball as well, wasn't he? So yeah, I like everything about him. As long as he can stay fitter than any of our other fullbacks, then I think we're on to a winner, because that left side, left back has been dead for a long time for United. So, yeah, if he can stay fit, I think we've got a really good player there. Obviously, Luke Shaw is a big question mark, but I think if he does return to United, it's probably going to be in the left centre-back position, I'd imagine, just because it's less physically taxing than that left wing-back position. And obviously you've got Mazraoui who could play there defensively, and then when Ahmad's back, maybe he's the attacking right wing back, or we go out and buy somebody in the summer, who knows. So yeah, it's interesting. It's good to see there's one piece of the Amorim puzzle that's in place, and it's already made an impact, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think you touched on Shaw there. He's one we need to get back. I'm still, I know this is weird, but I'm still surprised he's not back yet. Because of how long it was, just okay, he's had a setback, he's had another setback, that's fine. But now it's well, where are we at?
His fell off. His leg fell off? What's happened?
What's going on? Obviously, we had the news coming out today, the bigger news and the positive news, I suppose, is that Amorim's, that basically Mason Mount's back in training. He was working today. Amorim's desperate to get and keep him, as he views him as an ideal fit for one of the number 10 roles in the system. But the Sociedad game's expected to be too soon for him, but he's close to back playing, might be on the bench against Leicester. For example, he also said that Lenny Yoro and Harry Maguire probably for the next game or the one after that. I don't want to discuss the obvious because it's a tap-in. We always talk about Mount, how he's not fit, how he's probably going to injure himself, warming up and all that kind of shit, right? We always mention that. But in a hypothetical world, how much could that help us if he can stay consistent? how much help would he give us, especially for the last stages of the season now?
I think, again, we're speaking hypotheticals here. I think in that 10 position, the way Amorim set up, I think he's perfect for it. I think he's an absolute perfect fit for it. We've seen him play that sort of 3-10 role behind the striker quite a lot. He played it at Chelsea. He's played it for England as well. And he can make an impact because he's got a shot on him. He's capable of scoring quite a few goals. He's very good on the ball. He can pass as well. So I think, yeah, he's got a bit of bite about him as well. So I think he would be perfect for one of those roles. And then it just takes the sort of stress off, like people like Bruno playing there, Garnacho, like he's got his leg strapped up for the last 5 games. God knows how many injuries he's walking around with. It takes the pressure off him as well. So it gives you another option, like especially with Amad Diallo being out, who is our like sort of main source of like creation and stuff. I think it gives you another option, and I think he'll work really well in one of those 10 roles. It's just the question is always, can he stay fit? It's never a question of his talent and his ability. It's just fitness. That's always been the issue.
The question has to be on him as well is how long, like how many injuries does someone get before it actually starts affecting their ability in game where they can't, because you know as well as I know, like if you're slightly off in the Premier League by 2, 3, 4, 5%, you're done. You're absolutely done for. Because you can't cover distances in a certain amount of time and doing it what you usually do it, in which Mason Mount's a very intense player. Like he presses like fuck, works very hard. So if you start to lose that element of your game, the player that you're known for then dissolves, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, you saw him last year when he came back. He didn't look at it, did he? Like you could see it was gone. Like whatever he had before, it just wasn't there anymore. Which is why he's gone out on loan, because he's trying to get back to where he's in, and we can't have that sort of player at our club at the minute because you need to be better than that. So it could well be the same case with Mason Mount. He might come in and you just might look at him and go, he's lost something in his game, and like, can he get it back? Possibly. But if, like you said, if it's one of those situations where you don't ever get it back, maybe then it is time to move him on. And that is a disaster of a signing if we have to move him on already, because he's just can't get back.
You won't be able to move him on.
Terrible.
Oh yeah.
No.
Who the fuck's gonna buy him?
You'd have to loan him somewhere, wouldn't you, and just hope that he gets some form back and somebody takes a chance on it. But yeah, it's that could wind up being one of our worst transfers ever, and it's not really our fault either. Like it's just injuries.
Well, it seems like business with Chelsea doesn't really turn out well. Speaking of that, Jadon Sancho could end up back at Manchester United this summer if Chelsea decide not to go through with the deal, although it would cost a significant penalty to pull out under the terms of their agreement. Another issue could be Sancho's contract with Chelsea. Players often agree terms with their new club before joining on loan with a view to a permanent move, but it's understood Sancho's yet to do so. Why were we so confident that this was completely done? I felt there was a lot of details missing from this loan deal when it happened. We was like, oh, done. As long as you don't finish, below 14th.
14th, yeah.
Sweet, we're done. He may end up at United in the summer, Sam.
Why is there an option that they could pull out of the deal? Like, why is that an option?
I don't know.
Like, surely if you do a deal like a transfer or something like that, then you can't pull out of it. Like,
maybe they had doubts as well. I won't blame him.
Oh, fucking after the amount. What is it? I think it's 12 games, no goals, no assists, I think. So,
you weren't familiar with his game?
No, he's a freedom fighter, though. Do you remember that? He's a freedom fighter. Yeah, Jesus Christ, this saga is never going to end, is it? No. It's just never going to fucking end.
And we're still paying for him. We're still paying for him right now.
He's been on loan to 2 clubs, and he's still not fucking left.
No.
He still might be, come summer, pre-season tour, he still might be here. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. There's
no way he can come back into the fold now.
No,
it's just
imagine him under Amorim. Like Amorim's going, you need to work hard. That's
you need to
never
press
going to
me.
happen.
And he's like, sorry, what? Say that again.
Not a chance.
Press. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Amorim will just be like walking into Barada's room and just be like, get him to fuck. Yeah. Like out now. I'm not.
I loved it. The reaction at first when he went to Chelsea and you had all the Chelsea.
Oh yeah, because he made a pass.
Creators. They're all like, oh yeah, 20 million. We've mugged his off. We've done you with Mason Mount. And now you see the reactions after the game. He's just doing this. He's not beating a man. Yeah. He's just chopping and changing. And then
we've been there. We've been
know.
there.
Yeah,
We've done
we
it.
know. Why do you think we want to fucking get rid of him? Not only that, you get all the added shit that comes with him as well, his ego and the willingness to not work. Yeah, we know about it. That's why we want to fucking get him off the books.
The
Coaches,
fanboys as well. The Sancho fanboys are just fucking just fuck off.
You
as
always
well.
get coaches, don't you? You want to take chances on a player, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes it works out. Emery's the master at it. He does it all the time. He's done it throughout his full career. But I think with Sancho, I think it's just... I don't think you're ever going to get him back to that Dortmund Sancho.
You caught in the Dortmund Sancho, you caught lightning in a bottle, didn't you? You just had this lineup with like this perfect circumstance. Even with his attitude, and he couldn't get up on time, and you had to have somebody with him to get him out of bed, and he was playing video games till 4 a.m. And even with that, you caught lightning in a bottle, and then ever since then, it's just not words. It's not words at all.
The conversation's always going to be the Lingard, Ravel Morrison kind of vibe with him. I think he's going to his career is just going to downwards from now, because I think he must be getting a 24, 25 now at least. Sancho. He's been about.
He should be hitting his peak, like going towards his peak right now, and he's barely playing at this point. He's barely playing.
So yeah, we'll keep tabs on that. For any updates, news-wise, check us out on Instagram, all the socials, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Drop us a follow in there and hit that subscribe button as well. Just the last story, we had a couple of changes to the medical staff, Sam, a further shake-up. Senior staff at Muppeteers, you got the scoop on this, actually. So shout out to Muppeteers. Saying senior staff with head of medical services, Gary O'Descroll, to leave the club after 18 months. Jim Moxon also departing United after 2 years, a senior men's first team doctor as well. I think he's gone to Brighton. Bit weird that, isn't it? Considering he's literally just... I remember I say signing him like he's a player, but I remember him coming to United and we was like, praise the Lord, because the amount of medical issues that we had. It was like, this guy could sort it out, a senior doctor or whatever. But it went worse, didn't it? I remember we was joking about it. It literally got worse as soon as he come in.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's a result. Maybe Amorim's like, this is not the guy. Like, this is not him. Or maybe Ineos were like, no, this is not good enough. Like, we need to get better in class. I think Moxon's going to Brighton, I believe, the other one. Like he's supposed to join Brighton. But it's a weird sort of circumstances, like how the last couple of years, the amount of injuries we've had and then the amount of setbacks in the injuries that we've had has been insane. It's been so fucking bizarre. Like Luke Shaw, constant setbacks. Malacia, like how many setbacks did he have? He was out for like fucking
We had a conversation about Shaw, didn't we? When it in March time when he came back for the Luton game, I think it was.
Yeah.
And there was mixed reviews from Ten Hag, Luke Shaw, and the medical staff. It was like maybe they pushed him a bit too much. Didn't really understand the severity of the situation and all this kind of shit. And you're like, United, you need to have top professionals in those areas. Like it's just a given. Everyone else fucking does.
We had it in the past. I think Lukaku mentioned it. He said when he was at United, he's lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
And they were giving him like dairy and stuff like that. And it was making him sluggish and tired and stuff. And he didn't even realize it. And then he got to, was it Inter we sold him to?
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to Inter and they like got his diet right, got him off the lactose and stuff. And he was fine. It's just like, why are we not doing that? Why are we not even bothering to find out? Oh, somebody's allergic to this. Let's just keep giving it to him. Like, it just seems really basic and stupid.
Maybe that's
can't get that right.
The secret to Rasmus. Maybe he's lactose intolerant, and we just
possibly.
Last question, just because obviously the Champions League fixtures kick off in around 50 minutes. Expectations. I'm just seeing Arsenal's lineup now. Do you know that? Let me read the front three out for you.
Go on.
Sterling, Marino, and Kieran Tierney is their front three today.
Jesus Christ.
Obviously, they won. What was it like 7-1 it was against PSV. So they're obviously already through. We saw PSG knock Liverpool out last night. Aston Villa against Club Brugge 3-1 up, so probably expect them to go through. Yeah. And they're at home as well. They've been really good at home. Yeah. But the other two games, the other game, that's on, Atletico and Real Madrid.
Ooh. That was a good game. That first leg.
Very good.
That was a fucking cracker of a game. I really enjoyed it.
Very good goals as well. I think Madrid 2-1 up on aggregate, I believe at the moment.
Yeah,
Alvarez with a banger.
Rodrigo
and Brahim Diaz as well scored a really nice goal. Yeah. Who goes through?
You can't bet against Real Madrid, can you, in the Europa League?
Mbappe back as well tonight.
I saw before Madrid have advanced in 21 out of 22 knockout rounds when they've been up in the first leg, when they've won the first leg. So that is a hell of a record.
Yeah.
A hell of a record. So yeah, I can't in Champions League. I can't ever bet against Real Madrid.
No.
Like they could be 3-1 down in aggregate, and I'd still put money on them to beat and win. Like it's just that's what they do. That's what they do. Every fucking year they do it. I've never seen a team like it. I've never seen it like before. It's just insane. And there's a reason why they've won the amount of Champions Leagues they have, because they do this every year. It's just madness. But yeah, I hope it's going to be as good as a game as it was in the first leg, because I really enjoyed that. High scoring, going at each other constantly. Yeah, bring it on. I'd love to see that.
Do you know what? I half want Atletico to do it. I want them to
that'd be good. That'd be interesting. I'd like that.
I think as well, you've got, I think, don't Arsenal play the winner of this game? Madrid and Atletico. I think so. Okay. So then they play, you could play Atletico Madrid and Arsenal. And maybe it won't be the best of games, to be fair. But I don't know. I just feel like Madrid win it every year. Someone different to someone.
Yeah,
Barcelona have got a really good chance. Bayern Munich playing out the skin as well.
Barca destroyed Benfica.
Yeah.
Like, destroyed
Lamar and Rafinha, outrageous. Oof. Absolutely outrageous. So yeah, let's see.
It's probably going to end up as a Barca Madrid final, isn't it? This is what.
All day, I'll take that El Clasico final.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think Barcelona this year in the fixture. I think they battered Madrid 4-0.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, sure. I was going to say 4-0. Yeah. So it'd be interesting. But it's the Champions League. It's not La Liga. So Madrid are a different animal in the Champions League. So
it's true. It's true. Right, we'll leave it at that then. Enjoy the football, everyone. Please do smash like the video, subscribe to the channel, and get your comments in, whether you're watching this live or later on. And we'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Take it easy, everyone. See you in a bit.